everyone, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Ashmita and I hope you all are doing well. And yes, I finally watched Bheeshma Parvam in the theaters, which stars Mammootty in the lead role and is directed by the Amal Neerad. Now, before I get into the review of the film and talk about the aspects that I like and I did not like, I first want to actually take a moment and thank the crowd that was present in the theater. So there was this big group of, I think, family slash friends who were there. Minimum, I think there were 15 people, 15 to 20, and they really set the mood inside the theater. The energy with which they were watching this film, they were like clapping and hooting, and yeah, that made, I think personally, I think it made the viewing experience for me even better. So yes, let's deep dive into the various aspects of this film. Starting with the storyline, this is essentially about a big joint family, which was of course suggested in the trailer as well, and the internal feud that happens between the family members because of one person holding the complete decision-making power, that is Michael, which is played by Mammootty. Now, as the movie starts, we get a brief narrative of what the family tree looks like and a little bit of history of what happened within this family, the entire dynamics, and why Michael is like the supreme decision maker of this huge family and why he's considered as the godfather, which I thought was really great for us as an audience because it is a very big family tree, and if the characters were just thrown at us like that without any context, maybe it would have taken, at least for me, I think it would have taken me a little bit of time to grasp to the relationships. But because of that narrative, it became much easier for me as an audience. Now, when I see the storyline in complete isolation, I feel it is the weakest point of this film, and not necessarily I'm saying this in a negative way, but the way the events played out in this movie, it was highly predictable. Certain situations and how the events were unfolding, I could technically foresee and do a really good guesswork that how this movie is probably going to pan out or how the relationship or the dynamics is going to change. Like, for example, I just knew by looking at Shine and Farhan's characters that, oh, they are going to do something really stupid, which is not going to be in the favor of the family, but they are going to work against, Mammootty's character. Then if I take example of Ajaz, which is Sobin's character, I thought that, okay, you know what, this guy is way too silent, and I don't know why I get this gut feeling that by the end of it, oh, he's gonna become like a wild animal, which, well, happened. But does this factor take anything away from the actual viewing experience of this film? No, not really. That's why I said, even though the storyline for me is the weakest point of this film, just because it is predictable, I mean, it's not necessarily a bad thing. But yes, I specifically wanted to point it out because for someone who is going, or who probably went into the theaters thinking that, oh, I'm going to get a very different storyline, even though I know it's a family drama, but there are going to be certain twists and turns that I did not expect. Yes, for those audiences, I'm sure it would have been a little bit disappointing. Now, keeping aside the predictability factor, what really works for this storyline is the screenplay. If you ask me, I honestly went in with this mindset that this movie is going to be like a one-man show which will portray Mammootty as this larger than life being. I completely went in with that mindset, but that's where the screenplay pleasantly surprised me. The way the entire ensemble cast has been used is brilliant. Even though Mammootty is the central character here, it is definitely everyone's movie in the true sense. For a runtime of 2.5 hours, I did not find any dull moment in it. And that is because of how tightly the screenplay has been written. As I said before, this is a story of a huge family. So to isolate every character individually and make us understand that, okay, this is the character sketch of this particular family member and this is how they think because of so and so events, I mean, it's not so easy to execute. So props to Amal Neerad for that. Now, the biggest strength of this film, as per me, keeping aside the technical aspects, which I will come to later, is the execution of the commercial massy moments. I am not kidding you when I'm saying this. The last 15 minutes, 15-20 minutes where Mammootty and Sobin are just, on a rampage basically, the claps were not stopping. And of course, the whistling and the hooting when, Mammootty's, entry scene happened. I mean, I was expecting that because the energy of this particular group that was in the theater with me, oh, they were so hyped for this movie, and I think they made it such a fun watch for me also. Now, when it comes to the placement of these, goosebump kind of scenes or the hooting scenes, there are two action set pieces that are phenomenally done. The glimpse of these action set pieces are there in the trailer also, and I said this in my trailer reaction as well, that I was really looking forward to the action scenes, especially like the slow motion action choreography. It was done so well. Out of the two, the action set piece in the parking lot, that's my pick. That's my favorite one. Then the icing on top of this cake are the technical aspects, because they are so well executed. And you know what? At this point, I am really not surprised. I actually would have been surprised if the technical aspects were poorly done. So when it comes to cinematography, sound design, and edit, all three departments have done their job perfectly. Starting with the cinematography, oh, I mean, I saw it from the trailer and the teaser only, how amazing it is going to look. And yeah, it did not disappoint. It looked edgy, it looked stylish. And because this movie is set in the 80s era, just the way the entire screen looks so 80s and so vintage. I love that. There are really cool product placements here and there, which was, well, it was quite obvious that, yeah, this is like a product placement to, make us believe that, yeah, this is the 80s. But still, I was happy seeing those. Another thing which really caught my eye in the cinematography are the close-up slow motion shots. Like, I'll give you one example of a scene. There's a scene where Shine is wearing his shoe, and then, it's not polished and he throws it off and he walks out of the house bare feet. So there is a shot of him walking out, just his feet. It's just the feet captured, and it is looking absolutely phenomenal. That slow motion close-up shot of his feet probably doesn't do too much into the entire narrative of the film and storytelling, but there are so many scenes like that which add so much more depth and so much more flavor to the overall viewing experience for us as an audience. Like, this is what the attention to detail from a director's perspective is. Then coming to the BGM and the music, Sushin Shyam, he has nailed this BGM. The word which comes in my mind while thinking about the score of the film is cool. It is so cool and fun and edgy. Like, my feet were tapping whenever the BGM was playing. Then coming to the songs. Someone, when Parudisa had released, she said that, okay, yeah, the song is pretty chill and cool, probably a grower, won't probably listen to it, on loop or on repeat. And now someone is listening to Parudisa on loop. Yeah. So I take my words back. When I reacted to this song. My God. And when I watched the song on the big screen with the lyrics, now of course I know the meaning of the song. I just fell even more in love with the song. Now in this movie album, my clear favorite is definitely Parudisa. Then I definitely want to appreciate Vivek Harshan for the editing of this film. Not an easy job. See, editing as such is a very difficult job. Then you edit a film like this which has so many people, and then you have to give them individual time to shine. I think it has been done really well. I think the combination of a really tight screenplay and a very good edit made this movie so enjoyable. Then I definitely want to give a shout out to the stunt coordinator as well, Supreme Sundar, because those two action set pieces were choreographed very well. In not a single frame Mamuka looked awkward throwing in those punches or using the knife or anything. It looked very natural. He looked absolutely phenomenal in that, and I think it is because the stunt coordinator made him move in such a way that it looks absolutely authentic. Now, talking about the performances, it's a huge ensemble cast. So I'm really sorry if I'm not taking everybody's name, but I wanted to put it on record that all of the actors who are involved in the making of this film did their roles really well. Starting with the one and only Mammootty. Mamuka, he was absolutely phenomenal, no doubts about it. His voice, I think the way he was delivering the dialogues, I was so fascinated. He has such a screen presence. And I mean, the entire demeanor of that godfather-like figure, oh, he totally nailed it. Like, he's intimidating as Michael, but from his eyes and his demeanor, you also feel that, yes, this is an intelligent guy. Like, people fear him, but he also has brains. He's aggressive, but he also has a kind heart as well. I think he was so perfectly casted for this role. I so enjoyed him playing this role of Michael. And why I'm specifically talking about the way he said the dialogues is because is that as the portrayal of this huge patriarch figure who's running this family, keeping the family together, the way he was talking, it's very calm. Like, he's a powerful person, but the power doesn't come from throwing in the dialogues in a very, very cool and a very aggressive manner. There's a sense of calmness that you fear while watching him. Now, apart from Mamuka, two other actors completely stole the show for me. One is Sobin, second is Shine. Just the transformation that Sobin's character goes through, because like I said before, that yeah, the story is predictable, so I knew something is going to happen very significantly to this character. But to see it getting executed by Sobin so well, I fell in love with his acting yet again. Then coming to Shine Chak, oh my god, I think he was just living and breathing the character of Peter. I mean, the dude, when he plays these negative roles now, he scares me. Ever since Ishq, whenever I've seen Shine play that negative shade, because he's so freaking good at it, I get freaked out looking at him. I honestly get freaked out. Rest of the other actors also, like Srinath, Farhan, then the guy who plays Rajan, I think his name is Sudhir Nair. All of them, they were fine. All of them did really well. But I think in the entire ensemble cast, it was Sobin and Shine who were my top picks. Then I'm sure a lot of you have watched this film. It would have been very, very emotional to see the late actors, Lalita ma'am and Nedumudi Venu sir on screen together, because it was their last film. Lastly, I just want to say that I feel Amal Neerad completely played into his strengths to the full extent. For me, the only film that I can compare his direction with is Iyobinte Pustakam, because that's the one I watched. And Iyobinte Pustakam as a story is much more complex and has a lot more layers than Bheeshma Parvam. And Iyobinte for me itself is a very well directed film because of its complex narrative. So when it comes to Bheeshma Parvam, I say that he has directed it to his best of his capabilities. The movie looks great, it feels great, it's entertaining, you don't have to think too much. The way the dialogues have been presented, they are also well, like, there are serious dialogues, but there is a little bit of humor to it, which I found was amazing. So overall, this movie is a clear-cut example of how you can take a predictable storyline and make it into something so massive and grand and beautiful. And yes, those were my thoughts on the Amal Neerad directed Bheeshma Parvam starring Mamuka and various other actors. Let me know your thoughts, what you felt after watching this film. Met your expectation, little bit disappointed, whatever it is, what's your opinion? Please let me know in the comments below. And yes, with that, I will end this video here. Hope you have enjoyed this review and have watched the entire thing, hopefully. And yes, I will see you soon on my next video. Bye.